In this video, I'm going to show you how to increase your rating by 100 points from 1200 to 1300 on Lichess. I will be playing many games, commentating at the same time. The time control is 5 minutes per side. Let's begin. E4, C5, the Sicilian defense. Knight F3, D6, pawn chain. Bishop E5 check, one of the most popular ways to play. I can block with the knight, I can block with the bishop, I can also block with the other knight. So today I'm going to block this way because I want to keep more pieces on. I was about to say if this capture happened, then I can just take back. Now black has the bishop pair. In this position, it could open up and then it will benefit the two bishops. Get the knight out to attack the center. Now I can play a move like e5 and then bishop out. So let's go for that. With this move, I'm controlling the d4 square. That means white cannot play pawn to d4. That's why d3 was played. Bishop out, even g6 is possible as well. Then bishop out that way. Both are good. Bishop here today. Castle, castle. Threatening to capture, perhaps. I can play a move like bishop e6, bishop c6 to control the central square. So I'll put the bishop here. Both squares look good. Take, take. We have two knights against two bishops. Very unusual to have this in any game. If it's my move, I might play d5 to open up the position. My opponent is putting all their pawns on light squares, which is nice just to restrict this bishop. I could play a move like b5 to play b4 just to get more space. So let's go for that. b4 as well, maybe a5. Let's go b4. Now if this move happens, then I can take, and then go e4, opening it up for the bishop. Now I can go d5 to open it up. Let's go for that. When the position opens up, it will benefit the two bishops. Take, I can take with the queen, I can take with the bishop as well. Both look really good. I'm going to take with the queen today because queen and bishop, they line up very well against the king. With this recapture, white cannot move the knight. I'm also threatening a move like e4. c4, now I can just tuck the queen back. When I do this, white has actually created a new weakness. Rook and queen can target the e-pawn. This bishop is amazing. This bishop also has the chance to get in the game if I push my pawn to e4. I can also put my rooks in the center. I really like my position. One option is to take, one option is just to play e4, then the bishop can win the rook. I'm just wondering which one is better. Attacking both the knight and the rook. And let's get the file. Because I'm winning, I might go for a queen trade into d3 and then find a way to take. But then, now I can take the rook. Even rook here. You see, that knight is actually trapped. That's the thing. Let's just tuck it back. This bishop is amazing. Notice white cannot push their pawn forward because that is checkmate. I'm going to come back. I think I'll just win the knight. I think that's the most sensible thing to do. That knight has no squares. Fastest way to win. Let's get our rook in the game as well. And then that will be mate. And then ladder mate. d6, planning to go e5, so we can play d4 to stop it. Now we can go d5 to kick the knight away. If we play g3 now, they might go e5. Just a totally different way to play. So let's kick it. Knight comes in the center, but then the knight can go there. Totally different way to play, and we haven't really seen this in this rating climb. Let's play c4. Can't take because it's a nice opening trap. Queen here will actually pick up the knight. And my opponent falls for it. Good. It's a very sneaky trap, and people don't see it at the 1200 to 1300 level. So we pick up a piece and we are good. Take, let's take. Now the knight and the queen attack that point. Piece up, but you still have to win. I can take that one as well. Can also go knight here. Now, very important to get the pieces out, so let's go g3, which is what we normally do in these types of positions anyway. The bishop can come out. Now I can play knight here. Queen, check. That's why c5 is a good move, but knight here means I'm attacking both at the same time. Then I take. And if you throw in a check, I just block with the bishop. No good square for the queen. Nowhere here. Got to go back actually, unless you go here, but then I'll trade happily because I'm winning. Bishop here. Now I'm threatening to capture the rook. So let's put the queen right in the center. Don't see why not. I am a bishop up. And let's finish it off. Get the king safe. Let's put the bishop on a very useful diagonal. I can go here because then facing the king. I can also go here because it faces the pawn. Let's go here because it defends this pawn. Open up, get the rooks in the game, get the pawn up, looks good. Rook to the center. Also, I can sneak this bishop out to get another diagonal. I can also put the queen right in the middle as well. Both look good. I can actually go bishop here trying to checkmate the guy. Bishop here and then queen here and then it'll be mate. So let's go for that tactic. Why not? I am a bishop up, so I might as well use the bishop my opponent doesn't have. My opponent sees it, fair enough. Right, and now can you see this bishop is really strong because that pawn is weak. I can flick in h4, which is what a lot of players do anyway, just to soften up the structure. So let's go for that. I wonder if there's a better move. Queen here, they defend with the rook, that's fine. And then the game continues. Let's go h4, soften it up. If I was not up a piece, I would play h4 anyway. The fact that I have an extra bishop compared to my opponent means I should definitely play it, just to really soften up the structure. h5 looks strong. Queen in here now because the rook moved. If this goes forward, then the queen can come in as well. And now the bishop is open on h7. That's why I played h5. King there. Now queen in looks good. h6. Let's go queen in here. Because what is he going to do with the bishop? He's going to put the rook there. I might go g4 actually, get the other pawn in the game. It's a bit unusual to march both your own pawns in front of your king and use them as attackers, but I can do it here because I am up a bishop and my opponent has forgotten this bishop is under attack. Check. And the bishop that I put here a long time ago gives mate. If we go back a few moves, when did I put that bishop on this diagonal here? It was move 19, and now it is move 26. So the diagonal is now open up and checkmate on the next move. My opponent has to put the rook there and then game over. Bishop takes pawn, check, rook here, and then queen g7 is mate. e5, so we got to stop it with d4. Let's kick the knight, just like we saw before, and then we put the knight in the center again. And we can play around that knight. 1, 2, 3. My opponent breaks up the center, fair enough. Can I play c4? I think so. Yes. And then c5. Ah, that's very interesting. I've never seen this before. Fascinating. So let's just drop the knight back. You can't take because it's the same opening trap. Perfect. Now if we go back to this point, one way to continue was take, then I can get the bishop in the game this way, and then quickly castle. My opponent might get space. Let's go e4 next. One option was to play bishop g5, planning to damage the structure. a6 means b5 is next, so one good way to react is to stop them getting space with b5. My opponent can actually still play it, which is really funny, because I can't actually take it, because when that happens, the rook will take my rook. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was a really cool tactic there. But anyway, it was just me being a little bit picky. Let's get the center. With this, I'm actually stopping my opponent playing b5 because I've got pawn, knight, queen, but also bishop. I've got 4 pieces on it, but my opponent has 1, 2, 3. So that's why I'm going to win the pawn on b5. And then we can take. Yeah, the funny thing was I could take with the queen as well. Check. And if here, that is a nice mate on the back. Can't go back due to the pin from the bishop. Opening the center, great. Planning b5 to attack the bishop. Sensible way to continue, 1, 2. Let's attack the bishop first. Oh, my opponent must have misclicked. He meant bishop back. Two knights defend each other. It's a really nice way to play the Sicilian. I can get my knight out, get the bishop out. Yeah, let's go here. Then I'm ready to castle. This bishop belongs on this diagonal. Before I expected the bishop to retreat here. Now I'm putting pressure in the center. One way to continue, we can attack the knight. 2 pawns look really nice, controlling all these squares. We're ready to castle. Another way to put pressure is to move the other knight as well. My opponent's getting space here, but with this pawn move, this knight is now under attack, so I can take it. My opponent has missed that. So rook here, attacking the knight, they got to move it. Yeah, retreat the bishop, even that. This square, I want that for the knight. One way to go is to e5, but if that capture happens, I take. So I'm going to go this way round. Coming into the c4 square. Retreating this knight means my opponent has forgotten about that square. So let's take it with the knight. Let's take the bishop. Because the position's quite open, I wanted to grab that one. If queen takes, I could take. And now let's put the bishop here, attacking the rook. I can go d5, but then I block this bishop, so no, I don't want to go for that. Let's attack the rook. My opponent could go queen here to attack h7, but then I just go g6, just block. Also, I can play g6 myself just to stop them coming in at all. I could put my knight in the center, put the knight here, get my bishop in the center. Probably don't need to. I'm going to play g6 actually, because if the knight comes, I can retreat the bishop. I'm also putting another pawn on a light square just to blunt this bishop. This is a good strategy. Put your pawns on the same color square as your opponent's bishop. Now I've got a really big center. Time to start marching them down. I think so. You can go play a move like f5. I don't want to go d5 because then the knight comes in. So I'm actually going to play f5. Always got to be careful if you push your f pawn, because then that pawn is weak. Now I can go e5, f5 as well. I know e5 here blocks the bishop, but the plan is to go e4 next. So it's not really blocking it because I know I'm going to push it again. And I'm just coming through the center. Fork. Attacking knight and bishop at the same time. Got a nice pawn structure here, supported by the bishop. This bishop is amazing, and rook is good. If you capture in this way, I'm still forking the two pieces. So that means I'm going to win another piece. Now here I can take this one or I can take this. Both look really good. If I take this, then I might even take again. And my opponent has resigned. At the end, just showing I could take again. Then this is attack, the bishop might move, I take again. And it's pretty cool because this pawn has made it all the way to g2. And black is completely winning. Knight c6, you want to go e5 next. Let's stop it with d4. g3, 1, 2. Take. c4, open up the diagonal. Queen out. Temporary sacrifice. Bishop there doesn't do anything. I could play c5 actually, trying to trap the bishop. It's such a weird move, bishop there. I'm just trying to think. I can actually trap the bishop. So because of that, should I go for it? Yes. It's all of a sudden offside. Totally offside. It's a really weird trap. Now a3 wins it. Bishop here, b4. If we go back to this point, a normal move is just bishop out. Or queen here, ready to castle queenside. Let's get the rook in the game. Why not? I'm winning, so let's trade. Get the rook in the game here or here. Even queen here looks alright. Defending from the side. Looks really weird, but we'll go with it. And I'm taking this. So that's pretty cool. It's really strange to swing the rook over in this fashion. One, two, the King's Indian structure. Let's go knight here, ready to go e5, d5, and we reroute. A couple of knights here look well placed. My opponent might play e4 now. b4, when they play this move, trying to get space on the queen side, a good way to react is a5. Because if they take, I get the rook in the game. One way to react is bishop here, because take, they get their bishop in the game. But with this move, now I go b6. And the problem is they don't have any pawn break, so this is actually really bad for white. I'm going to reroute this, going to put the knight on c5. Or I can just go f5. Now, I don't want to go f5 at the moment, because they might put their knight into e6, so I'm going to prepare it with h6, stop the knight coming in, and then find a way to break through. This pawn structure is very static. It is really bad, so difficult for white to move. Now the bishop puts an extra defender, but I can attack with tempo. The bishop, also this bishop is now in the game, defending the pawn four ways. Now if I take, then they just take back. Now my knight is really well placed there, so I don't actually want to capture. Now one way to continue is actually f4. Locking it up. Trying to win on the king side. This is why King's Indian players love to play this opening. Because you just march your pawns. Now I can get the other piece in the game. I had this on the previous move. This rook has the chance to take part on the f-file. I can even play this, swing the queen over, 1, 2. So many options. I can even play this really weird move, queen here, and then check. It's such a weird move, I think I have to go for it. It's so weird. What's wrong with it? Well, I can see one way for him to stop it. If queen there, knight back, stops it. I mean, black's better because black's got so much space. Let's get another piece in the game. Knight here first. The plan is just to march my pawns, hit the knight, and then get the other pawn in the game. This queen can come in, bishop comes in, controlling this entire diagonal. Looks really good. Okay, huge move here. Huge move. Do I even take the bishop? Or do I keep the knight there? I think I take it. Can't go here because take. That's why I put the knight here. Got a retreat and now h5. The reason I want to play this is because then I get the bishop in the game. If this capture happens, I open it up. Also the queen can come in the game as well, along with the pawn. Just trying to find a way to open it up for my bishops. But now, knight f4 check wins the queen. That is game over. Queen here is mate. Check. Then check, and then mate here. Because the king can't come out because of the bishop. If it wasn't mate, I'd take the knight. That's mate. All good. I hope you guys learned how to increase your rating from 1200 to 1300. Increasing it by 100 points on Lichess. Take the ideas you learned in this video and apply it in your own games. If you enjoyed it, give this video a like. It really does help out the channel. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks for watching.